Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Windy City Nitty Gritty Podcast. I'm your host, Walter Hefner, and on this episode, we're looking at the state of the tag team division on Raw in the WWE. So, this episode, just looking at their tag team situation, and, compared to NXT, their tag team division is fine. SmackDown has a pretty good tag team division. However, Raw is lacking on the tag team side of things and could use a shot in the arm. Now we know recently, the Street Profits just recently won the Raw Tag Team Championships from Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy. So when you look at the Raw Tag Team division, it consists of the current tag champs, the Street Profits. You also have tag teams like the AOP, Viking Raiders, the OC, as well as Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. So with those tag teams, Raw could use a few more different tag team combinations that could help out, help broaden the tag team division and give, different matches instead of seeing the same teams going at it over and over again. So I want to look at different tag team combinations that can be put together on Raw that could make things better for their tag team division. First tag team that I want to talk about could be the tag team combination of Andrade and Angel Garza. Now, we know that both men are currently managed by Zelina Vega, and they would make a pretty good tag team combination. I could see them as a good heel tag team as well as a run with the belts in the process. So both men could pull off a great tag run, some memorable tag matches against various tag teams. Then you have Zelina Vega in their corner. So with her in their corner, there's a good possibility of seeing a great tag run from them. That will be one tag team combination I would go with. Another combination would be Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio. Now, I could see them, being challengers more than getting a tag title run. I could see their combination, being more like a teacher-student, mentor-mentee type tag team with them. So we could see them in line as challengers for the tag belts, but I wouldn't bet on a tag title reign from them. I would be surprised if they came up with this combination and decided to do a tag title reign, but at the same time, you're looking at Rey Mysterio, whose career may be getting ready to wind down soon. You still have Humberto Carrillo, whose career is just now taking off, so there may be that possibility of them getting a run with the belts, or, again, they could just be a tag team that could give the champs a fight and put the champs on the edge of their seat. Just when you think the champs are going to lose their belts, here come the champs to somehow defeat them. But that wouldn't be a bad tag team combination with Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio. Another tag team combination could be Shelton Benjamin and MVP. Now, with their departures from WWE, both of them ended up tag teaming together in New Japan Pro Wrestling back in 2012. And they had a pretty decent run as a tag team during that time in New Japan. And I would love to see what WWE could do with them as a tag team on the Raw side of things. Now, recently MVP had stated that his match with Rey Mysterio on the Raw after the Royal Rumble was going to be his last match. And he would take on a role as backstage as a producer. But recently we saw him in a match against Drew McIntyre. So there is a possibility of Shelton Benjamin and MVP teaming up as a tag team. Both men former WWE Tag Team Champions, both former United States Champions. So both men are no strangers to wearing gold individually, as well as in a tag team. So we could see a tag title run out of them if this team is put together, and if MVP decides, to wrestle in between his backstage role as well. And speaking of Shelton Benjamin, another tag team combination we could probably see will be Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Now, this could be in the same way as the Rey Mysterio, Humberto Carrillo tag team, mentor and mentee, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin recently fought on an episode of WWE Main Event. And I would highly recommend checking out that match on YouTube when you get the opportunity. A great match between these two. And, I think they will make a good tag team. Now, this is the type of tag team where, if they ran as faces, I could see a tag title run. Even if they were to run as heels, I could see a tag title run. Now, with their heel run, now we know both Shelton and Cedric have the skills in the ring. However, when it comes to mic skills, that's when you can bring in someone like MVP to be their manager for their heel run and let MVP, be the main voice for the both of them in their run. So this is a tag team, whether they did a face or heel run, you could see a tag title run from them, as well as, memorable matches against whomever they're put up against. Speaking of Cedric Alexander, another tag team combination I would love to see would be Cedric Alexander and Apollo Crews. Now, both men are on opposite shows, Cedric Alexander on Raw, Apollo Crews on SmackDown, but we'd love to see that high-flying tag team combination, seeing them together would kind of put your mind at the old Paul London, Brian Kendrick tag team with the high-flying and maneuvering around the ring, so that would be another tag team combination I would like to see. Another tag team combination you can put together Humberto Carrillo as well as Angel Garza. Now, both men are cousins, and their uncle is the late Hector Garza, who you may remember from his time wrestling in WCW, TNA Impact, or even during his time down in Mexico. So, seeing these two cousins come together, winning the tag titles and having a run with them, would kind of put you in mind of the time when Eddie and Chavo Guerrero had their run as tag team champions, so it's something about when, family members in wrestling get together, whether brothers, cousins, father and son, uncle or nephew, but something about those family tag teams that really, grabs the audience, so especially with these two going in for a run as faces. And you can even try out a heel run with them as well. So Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza as a tag team wouldn't be a bad option. Another tag team I would like to see would be Alex Shelley and Kushida, the Time Splitters. Now, we saw them recently in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Tournament this year, where they wrestled against the Grizzled Young Veterans from NXT UK. Now, with this tag team, the Time Splitters, they showed that, they were a team that wasn't going down without a fight. So, they got great chemistry with each other. It's like they just picked up where they left off from their time in Japan together. So, Kushida and Alex Shelley would be another tag team combination that could come to Raw and do great things to me. Another combination we could probably see, and this one may be a long shot, R-Truth and Cedric Alexander. Now, we can see both of them. We know them for, their moves around the ring, and this will be another case of, a veteran with a young upstart, and R-Truth being like a mentor to Cedric Alexander. And that would be another combination that they could put together, I wouldn't expect a tag title run from this combination, but, it's just one of those tag combinations that could be entertaining and, give other tag teams, some great matches, depending on which tag teams they come up against. And another tag team that came to mind that I've seen recently on NXT as well as 205 Live, the tag team of Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Now, again, we've seen them plenty of times individually as well as in tag team action on NXT, 205 Live. And they last year had a bout at NXT TakeOver, taking on Undisputed Era's Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and took them to the limit as well. So Lorcan and Burch are one of those tag teams that can hold their own no matter how big or how fast the opponents may be. They're a tough tag team, and, that will be another good tag team to have on the Raw side of things to help their tag team division out. So, just looking at some different tag team combinations that could come to Raw from either, NXT or even combinations, even if they do another draft after WrestleMania. So we'll just have to see what the Raw after Mania brings, or basically overall what after WrestleMania brings for the Raw division, as well as SmackDown and NXT. And that's all the time I have on today, so don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Windy City Nitty Gritty Podcast, as well as don't forget to like our Facebook page and follow us on YouTube. I'm Walter Hefner. God bless you guys and take care.